Well, let's get into what's going on in the mortgage markets. So the word for this week would be jumpiness. Jumpiness, right? Because the market has it's trended up pretty nicely this week, which means higher rates, and a lot of it has to do with our good old friend, the European market, as we're all determining the Brexit thing that will happen over the weekend. And so yesterday, which was Thursday, rates went up, pretty nice. It doesn't affect people a whole lot, but it might move an eighth up or eighth down or something like that. But in terms of the markets, it went up, and that's because they said they've reached a deal, but then the British Parliament still has to come in and approve it. And they said there's a very slim chance that they'll approve it. So now there's just all this unrest in the European market. So until that gets flushed out, it will make the markets just be very jumpy. And all week they've been really jumpy as we we don't have a conclusion.
Is that Trump's fault?
Somehow, I'm sure, right? I mean, at some point,
somehow everything is.
Everything is. I almost ran out of gas. That was Trump's fault.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. So that's been the biggest driver this week. There's still not a China deal, but we're getting close. There's not this. So there's just all this uncertainty, which made things actually go up a little bit.
Now, why would uncertainty like that make rates go up?
Usually it makes it get better, but they went up because they said they had a deal on Brexit.
Got it.
Right. So they said, hey, we got it. We're going to figure it out. And then so everything, I mean, it is jumpy, right?
So if they don't sign it, if the Parliament says not
market will drop.
Market will go back.
Yeah. So that, I mean, I don't, we have no skin in the game other than I need rates to go down a little bit again. So there's a lot of volatility, and boy, things move up faster than they move down.
Yeah,
right.
Always.
On rates.
Yeah,
God,
so they'll tick up and then slowly come back down over
come
a few
on,
weeks.
give me a little bit.
Right.
You know.
But when I was a kid, bubble gum was a nickel a pack, and now it's $1.05, $1.50, and I've been waiting for it to come down for.
I think it's like $2.99 now. Actually,
is this for a
nice pack of spearmint?
Is that right?
So
yeah,
good.
you only get 8 pieces too. You don't get like remember the big packs? Like 24 where they don't even have those anymore.
Really?
8 pieces for $3.
They'd have to charge you $9 for that.
Choose longer though.
Yeah,
choose longer.
It's
long
more
chew.
efficient.
Great service.
They're a little thicker.
Yeah, more efficient.
All right. So it says either way, as British law currently sits, Parliament has to decide on a deal or no deal by tomorrow, which would be over this weekend. So we'll kind of see what happens there. So that was one main thing. This was interesting. This past week, Mortgage Bankers Association predicts economic and rate uncertainty depressed new home sales. So talk a little bit about, they had the numbers come out, and at housing starts declined 9.5% versus 3.2 on the estimates. They say the market slowed down pretty substantially on the purchase side. Have you guys see that? Is that, again, this is a broad.
Yeah.
So bring it to our market, because
I think it's more seasonal than anything.
Yeah, no, our market here. So like I was talking earlier, the new listing that's coming on in Burnsville and the new listing coming on in Bloomington, Cottage Grove. You got one coming on. We have another coming on in Cottage Grove, another one in Rosemount. So I've looked at a lot of these markets specifically to these cities. Okay. And median sales prices are actually they're up overall compared to last year. So homes are selling for more. There is actually in every one of those communities besides Bloomington, the new listings that are coming on right now in September, we're in October, but looking back to September, are higher than they were last year at this time. So more people are putting their homes on the market in the fall this year compared to last year, and sales prices are up. Market times are very flat. They're very similar. And also affordability is very similar. Affordability is actually up a little bit because of where rates are compared to where rates were. So homes are still selling in our area as we expect them to. Now, home starts for new construction, all that stuff. Nationally, sure, it could be a little softer, but our area here, we have a great market, and it's still a great time to be.
It's kind of hard to compare national
selling.
Numbers.
It's great just to stop. It's really still a great time to be selling and buying. Rates are low, money's cheap, and housing is in a good spot overall. You know, everybody's like, "Oh God, is it going to crash again?" Crash from what though? We have very low inventory. We have a pure supply and demand appreciation. We don't have this 45,000 homes on the market. It's just a different market.
Do you think there's enough homes on the market right now for for people to find that home if they put theirs on the market? Do we have
Sure.
enough inventory right now?
Sure. It
I
just
think so.
depends on location, price
Yep.
point, and style and all that. But we have about 2.5 or 2.75 months supply of inventory
okay.
across the metro area, which is low.
Yes.
It's a low
Mhm.
inventory level.
Yep.
And in some communities, like in Burnsville, for instance, where we have a house coming on the market, and I've been looking at the very specific numbers, it's 1.5. There's not as many homes in the market in just Burnsville. So we
Okay.
know that things going to turn pretty quick. We're going to get a good price, yada, yada, yada. So it's different everywhere. But
I did a market on a house this week in Apple Valley. It was for a multi-level home in that about that 350 to 400 price range,
Mhm.
and there was 18 homes as
Wow.
comps that are
Okay.
on the market.
Wow.
So there's a
great.
there's a good supply. I thought, wow, there's this deal. I can't find a house. I can't find. There's plenty, and they were nice homes.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
One of the questions that came up this week was on seller paid closing costs. So because we're starting to see it a lot more that we're getting seller paid closing costs, and what we see happening is typically we'll get 3%. What they're doing is they're adding about 1.5 on top, and then the sellers
a bit.
conceding 1.5, and that's the 3%. We've had
That's seasonal.
Is that seasonal?
Straight
Okay.
seasonal.
All right, because I'm like, wow, that's
Straight
great
seasonal.
to see that again.
Yeah, with the peak
because
of the market throughout the year in your March, April-ish, depending on weather and how that pushes you around, to
right.
June, July, and into August, it's going to be, no, I'm not going to give you any closing costs. And look, we have 7 other buyers right here, and homes are selling at about 99 to 99.5% of list price, and so that's where that comes in, where you concede a little bit. It's almost 100%. So.
Oh, that's good. So that's kind of cool to see. It's kind of fun for us to see again, because a lot of these are on that $200,000 homes too, that first-time home buyer, and so that 3% helps so much. It helps direct our path in terms of financing. Then, if we have some of those dollars, because otherwise we need to find those dollars somewhere
Which is
else.
an encouragement for someone who's looking to buy a home.
Yep.
Right now, you've got some of that flexibility that will go away, in about 4 months.
Yep.
So if you're thinking of moving or buying a home in the spring, I'd encourage you to take a look at it today, because you're likely to get a little more flexibility in terms of negotiations from the seller today than you would in March.
Right.
Sure.
And in terms of listing property, we don't want to say, okay, put it on at peak market time pricing. Be more specific with your pricing and careful with your pricing, and then you might not have those concessions either, and you have more people interested in the property, and ultimately you don't have to do those closing costs. So there's a strategy to pricing on both fronts.
As well as condition. I mean, the work that you're doing over in Burnsville is the same thing. Do the condition, make the house in perfect condition, and you won't have a reason for somebody to come in and ask for concessions, because as soon as there's something wrong with the property, it gives someone leverage to ask for a concession.
That's right. Hit us up online, hittnergroup.com, HITTNER group.com, 612-627-8000. See you next week.